What's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is David, Second Unit Comic, bringing you another 5 books market watch. I got some pretty banging covers over here. Some keys, some really, I don't know if it's hard to get, but a good books. Got some recent ones. Got some came out, 5 years ago, and some came out a little bit later, but still all modern, but great covers. And some of the books you probably would know because it kind of blew up when it came out. We'll see where they're at. So before we start, you know what got to be done. Shout out to my boys at 789 Comics. They are releasing this right here, Batman 160, part of the Hush Run. It has been a good read so far. Can't wait out till I keep up and pick up that 159 and just see what's up. And use that code SNMC to get 10% discount on all your orders. It's not a one-time thing. You can use it many times as you want. And now with that said, let's go with the first book here. And this is one of the best, not one of the best. I said one of my favorite Vampirella cover is the one that was just released this past year on New York Comic Con. This is a 1500 print run, or was it 1200? But anyway, Vampirella 672 Color Splash. There was a mini version of this, but this is the one that I could get my hands on just for the fact of the cover. Will Jack, um, Color Splash. Anyway, Vampirella 672. Like it or not. I think he has killed it on this run, on this cover here. And let's see what he does on the secondary market. All right. Right here off the part, it's a $1,500. I mean, 1,500 print run. So 50, 45, 79, signed by Will Jack. 50. So it's about 50 to $55 is what they're asking. $75. Good luck with that. Best offer, but 55.90 signed by him. 98 asking for 109.64. So we can say about 50 to $70, I guess you can say. All right, here's that Will Jack pink back. Wow, but that's the one I missed out on. But there's also a metal version as well too with the Vampirella. Um, but I just put here color splash. But look at that, 500. That's a beauty. Okay, there you go. No, that's nice. Color splash. Sometimes I like the color splash. Sometimes I don't. Like I said, the this one is the one that I really wanted to get, but this is the one that I was able to get. So anyway, so about 50 to $70, and let's see if what it sells for. All right, here we go. Bam, $45, $49 on a May 24th on an auction. Here's a 9.8, so for $89, I think that's a pretty good price on it. Will Jack sign for $80. Here's one, the color splash and the full color for under $310. The best offer was taken. What the hell is this? Anyway, here's wow. Here's Vampirella 666, 672, gold, red, and color splash. Mm, I prefer the color splash. I mean, still good, but not good as this, yeah. Um, Here's one for 25. Here's 9 each, so for $75, $30, $109, 64. Back in April, 9 each, 67 on an auction. Here's a $60 was taken. 64 on an auction, one bid, 60, 15, 60, 65. So um, it is still in a demand. $45. Not bad, not bad. Um, so if you have it, great. If you have extra, would you sell it? Uh, as for me, it's gonna be in my collection. it is going to be my collection, but I'm kind of hoping that I had this one here. But hey, you can't win them all. All right, up to our second cover is Pin Up Apocalypse, issue number 1/25, by Savi. Anyway, here's the book. Remember when this was selling as part of the massive production? It was sold out on distribution, and people were asking about 150, 165. It was selling, and then massive online was selling this for, I believe it was $80, and the price of that, ever since from then on, price started dropping down, and we'll see what this goes for. Once again, Pin Up Apocalypse, uh, issue number 1/25, covered done by. Mhm, covered done by Subina uh, Veda Subina. Anyway, here we are. There's second printing 1/25. 1/25 on issue number 2. But here we are. Pin up, pin up, pin up, pin up apocalypse. Pin up apocalypse. Pin up apocalypse. God, it's a tongue twister to me. Asking $143. Here's 134, 131, and 149. There's a risque version of this as well, but let's see if we can get any more. Kill, pop kill. All right. Bum, 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 bum. So nope. So it's about 100 to $130. You can say. So we have here 130, 150. So we'll see what is sold for. What he has sold for, not what he's sold for. Okay, there we go. Boom. 169 on May 27th. Issue number 3, 170. Number 4, pre-sale, sold for 65. Here's number 2 for 130. 170, 170. Here's one, May 26th, sold for $130. Here's one for $100. So it is still selling over ratio. I'm surprised. As you can see, I've grown up. Even the second print 1/25 is selling. Look at this. 160, 117 on auction. Here we go. May 5th, $75. $110 on May 5th as well. What have we got here? The whole set. Wow. For $160. 160 best offer, 130. Here we go, 110. So it is still on a good market right here. Don't know really what the story is about, but it seems like the pinup girls um, surviving the zombie apocalypse or the end of the world kind of thing. But great covers, and there's a lot of store variant that does also great covers as well too. All right, the next one here, it blew up. I mean, it was the cover of the year. They thought that was good. I had to jump on it, and also went to Patrick Gleason's online and got the version and got it graded and came back as a 98. But let's see what this Amazing Spider-Man issue 55 is at right now. After what, 5, after 4 years, we'll see. Let's take a look. Amazing Spider-Man 55. There we go. All right, the whole set. They're asking $300. Here's a third print version for 80. Second print for 80. Raw for 55. 45. Signed by Gleason, $80. Here's a 9.6 asking $50 on the second print. 50. The first print with the trade dress, $70 on a 9.8. Here we go. Um, Virgin, $111.11. Ha ha ha. Okay, 98. And then here's one. 209 trade dress. Here's 135 on the 9.8. Where's the raw? How come I don't see any raw? Um, dun, 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 dun. Wow, remember this? Second print, 125. And you could find this at the Walmart pack. And ever since then, the price has gone to shit. So seems like as though there is no, it's pretty much all graded. All right. So we'll find out what it's being selling for, raw or not. Boom. Here we go. 9.8 on an auction. One sold for $140. $42 on the red one. 110 on that. Here's one the raw for 23.35. Here's one that sold for $70 in the blue. Here's one. Okay. $44 for $45. So back in May 12, $40. And wow, what is this? My spidey sense is tingling. Oh, Patrick Gleason has kind of personalized it. So for $400, not bad. Here's one that for 85, so that's a pretty good price. Here's the one that was signed for 250 with the JSL. Well, seems like it's selling. Raw, I can. Here's a 96 for 65, 56. So this one on a raw probably about 60. I can say that probably 98 selling for 195 to $110. So not bad, not bad. I guess this they know a good cover when they see it. I remember this came out. It was a cover of the year. Everybody had to get it. I remember that first print of Trade Dress was selling for $50 at one point. All right, almost getting there. This one here, this is when 14th came on in 2014. Delato. I think he did all of this one here. I think it was 175. It's now 150. Original Sin Run. This is issue number 7 with the Gamora. I remember this was selling at one point in this grade for at least about what, $250, $300. Um, it's Original Sin issue number 7 with Gamora. With Gabriel Delato cover. And let's see what this book is selling for. Still gorgeous cover. Um, let's see what the secondary market is asking here. And boom, here we are. Guys, signed by Delato, 9.8, asking 400. Here's the one with the Winter Soldier, asking 200, 9.8. Here's 185. Here's Raw for asking for $22, 108. $50, 113 and a 96. $400 signed, 99. What about $100 Raw? Like, so how's that, huh? Here's, wow, asking for $337. Um, here's that one signed for asking for $280, $400. And here's one at 149, 205, $90 on a 96. So we can kind of say that Raw asking average about what, 45, $50, 9.8 asking for 100 to 1, depending if it's signed or not. About $100, 120, we can say. All right, so let's see what it's been sold for. All right, we got one. It's a 150 ratio variant, raw copy, sold for $45. Here's that one that's signed by Jim Starlin. Okay, maybe he's a creator of Gamora. Okay, for $300 and a 9.8 signed by him. If we can go more. I think that was it. I think the last one that was sold was back in April 4th. March 7th was the last one that was sold, going on a 3 month back. Jim Stalin signed. But still, great cover. Um, definitely did not pay $300 for my copy, but $45 best offer was taken or not, regardless. April back in April 4th. So I don't know. Still a great cover for me. Um, back then, get rid of a lot of he did things like this. Yeah, still a great artist. Sometimes it can be a hit and miss, but back in the day, it was pretty much bangers. And he did killed it on this series, especially when it comes to 150 run. So there's that one. Right, the last book. Hopefully that they make some type of a movie when it comes to this. Brian K. Vaughan with Fiona Staples. You know, if you know the two names I just mentioned, you know what book it is. It's Saga number one. This is the first printing. I believe there's all the way to maybe six printing if I'm not mistaken, but it's the first. And I think there's that convention um, cover done by Fiona Staples, which is really hard to find. But let's find out what this one is selling for. So we put here Saga issue number one, first print. Right now, 3 days left with $6.50. Right here asking for 137 raw, 92 asking 200. Here's one for 175. CBCS old label, 98 asking for 325. Here's one, 180. Here's the second. Oh, it's a fit printing. God, for $23. Um, Here's one first and second print for 250. Here's that one for 149. I don't know how the hell you know what uh, what the printing is first or second. Anyway, here's one I need asking for $400. 96 asking 240. Here's one asking. Oh, it's on auction. Starting bid at 250. Um. Oh, what is this? TMNT. Never mind. Never mind. Here's that one out of 150, $400 or best offer. Hello. $75. Buy it now. This is Turkish edition. Interesting. 98 signed by Brian K. Bond for $550. There's a 94 asking for 250. Here's a third printing. We're asking for 150. Boom, boom, boom. This is new April O'Neil. Nice Virgin TMNT. Okay. Multiverse Saga. Here's that 1 through 149. 1 through 29 asking for 245. Paperback. I might have to grab that paperback. Hmm. All right. Here's a hardcover one, $387. Here's one asking 400. You can kind of get an idea that first printing probably about 150 to 200, 250. All right, so let's see what it's been sold for. Whoa, okay. Saga, right here, third printing, $13.50 on an auction. Here's the second printing for $43. Um, come on, come on. Trade paperback. All right. Never mind about that. Come on. Gotta be here somewhere. Oh, hello. Multiverse Saga Supergirl cosplay. I like it. Somehow I like it. All right. As you can see, oh, there's one 8.5 on a third print, sold for $75. Did any of the first prints sold? God, let's go to the second issue here. We'll see. Maybe I might have to do. I'm sorry, guys, but I should have done this earlier. But maybe I'll go with this one here. There we go. There we go. Here's one, May 23rd, sold for $300, which is signed by K-Bond. Here is the two copy. First and the second print sold for $250. Sorry. But that's pretty much it. This my wife is calling. Let's start with that. Anyway, let me just end this with 79 Comics. Use that code SNMC to get your 10% discount on all your order. And I gotta end this stream. So until next time, guys. Shoot.